Hi everyone. Just wanted to do a quick screen capture video here of two different campaigns to illustrate one of the most, if not the most, important metrics when we're optimizing a Google Ads campaign, and that is cost per conversion. Um, we do a lot of account reviews for clients that are considering using our services. So we see, daily we see quite a number of new campaigns, and they're everywhere from horrible to really good. And I've picked some good ones here because I mean anybody can fix the horrible ones. So I've picked a couple of good ones that were quite well laid out, running for a long time, and these people wanted to see if we could make them better, etc. And is there any opportunity in there? And we're always amazed that given the importance of cost per conversion, um, how few clients sort of do it properly and at the keyword level instead of at the ad group level, and a few things like that. So I just wanted to point this out because this is one of the biggest areas of opportunity, even in an account that's being well run or a campaign that's being well run. So here we're looking at a law firm. This is what we looked at. This is exactly the video the screen capture video that we did when we first had a look at it. So we haven't touched this yet. This is the way it's been running for quite some time. We're looking at a year period here, January to the end of December 2017. We are on the keywords tab over here, you can see. So we're looking at the keywords of this particular campaign. And that's kind of the first thing that I want to point out. People look at the overall performance. And overall, you really have to drill down to the keyword level always. You have to get down to the smallest level that you can because that's where things really get revealed. So if the overall here, over the course of the year, the overall performance was for this particular campaign, they have many campaigns. For this campaign, they got 129 conversions. And let me define conversion in this case. A conversion conversion can mean whatever you choose to have it mean, whatever's meaningful for your particular situation. It usually means one of two things. Either a lead is generated, meaning a form has been submitted, a contact form, or a phone call was generated, either a manually dialed call or a clicked call, whatever. So someone has reached out and inquired, made an inquiry. So it's a lead. And that's very common. Of course, people use AdWords for lead generation. The other typical definition of a conversion is an actual sale. So some, e-commerce sites and such, a conversion actually means a sale. And it can also mean a lead being generated on the e-commerce site also. As I say, it can mean whatever you want it to. But in this case of the law firm, a conversion means somebody reached out and either called or did a form submission. So during the course of this year, they got 129 of those at a cost per conversion of $322. Now they're happy with that. They're profitable with that because it only takes a few such inquiries at $322 before they get a client. And a client to a law firm is typically worth a lot, as you might imagine. So they're happy with this. But when we drill down to the keyword level, and that's the point of this video, let me show you some of the opportunities that are in here. The first thing I'll mention, I'm going to click away from the keyword view and go to the ad group view. So here's all the ad groups in the same data set. And a lot of people make their decision about pausing ad groups based on cost per conversion or based on money being spent and the results. And if we look here in the column cost per conversion and we see this ad group has about a $300 cost per conversion. Look at this one, $988 cost per conversion. Here's 460, here's another 400, 300, here's a nice one at 191. So it's all over the place. The point is, people often pause a whole ad group. They'll pause, let's say, this one here because it's $352 compared to, some others down here that are 190 in the hundreds. So they say, well, 352, let's get rid of that ad group. But the mistake with that is, look, it's got 46 conversions within it. So I can promise you that if we drill down just to the keywords in only this ad group, you're going to find keywords in there that are converting at a very nice low, cost per conversion, and others at higher because the average is 352 in this ad group. So you don't want to pause ad groups entirely because you're going to be pausing some real winners keywords that are in that ad group. So the first thing you always want to do when you're doing this is go to the keyword tab and let it show all the keywords and then sort by these various column headers. We're currently sorted by conversion, and I'm just going to show you some examples of what I'm talking about. So here we've sorted by conversion, so you can see 33, 20. These are the different numbers of conversions that each of these keywords has brought at very different cost per conversion. So I'm actually going to go ahead and sort by cost per conversion here, so we can see a descending from highest to lowest. So the first one is pretty blatantly obvious. This keyword got one conversion at $900. So that's expensive. Look at how that skews it. Remember, the average is 322. So here's a keyword that, yes, it brought a conversion, it brought an inquiry, but at $911. Now, only one conversion, and over here clicks, 9 clicks. The other thing, to be fair, that I need to mention is this is not enough of a data set. It's just not enough data to make a decision to keep it or trash it. But it still illustrates the point that we're trying to make during this video, which is $911 is what this law firm paid for a lead on this keyword. Now let's keep going down. Here's a little bit more data, makes more sense. 44 clicks, and out of only 44 clicks we got 6 conversions. That's a pretty good keyword in terms of it resonating with people, and it's converting. 6 conversions, you know, that's a 13.5% conversion rate, so that's pretty darn good. But it's at $604, and you need to set a threshold beyond which you know that you're not profitable anymore. You just, you know, after a campaign has been running for some period of time, we have these conversations with our clients and say, well, how much is too much to pay for a lead? And we have to set that threshold, which is the point we're making here. This one, even though it brings 6, it's at a cost of $600 for each conversion. And for those of you that might be thinking, well, if you pause that keyword, which is exactly what we're going to do, we're going to pause that one, it's too expensive. You might be thinking, well, now shoot, now you're going to lose out on 6 conversions you would otherwise have had. But let me address that momentarily. Let's continue down. We can see it keeps coming down, 500, 500. I'm going to scroll down a little bit. Look where we get to. Here's a nice one that has 12, so the volume is good. Out of 61 clicks, 12 of them converted at a cost of $392. Here's one 700 at $367. Look as we continue down here, look at the bottom, 33, that's our highest yet, 33 conversions on a keyword that is converting for $287. So you get the point. I'm not even going to scroll down any further. The point is, here's one that has nice high volume, 33, at $287. Everything up here is like double that, the cost. So if we were to just pause everything above this line, and I don't propose we do, it gets a little more complicated than that, but the point I'm making is everything above this one right here, if you were to pause that, your cost per conversion now is going to come down so much, so drastically, by just getting rid of all of these too expensive converters. Now, if we do that, and back to the point I made a moment ago about now you're going to have a lower volume of conversions because you got rid of all these keywords that were indeed converting, something else needs to be pointed out on that note. When you pause all of these, the Google algorithm is then going to say, you know, they want to spend that daily budget. The daily budget setting here is $350 a day. Google wants that money. So the fact that you're now no longer sending traffic to, we sometimes call these keywords traffic hogs, like some of them that take a lot of traffic, they're very popular, they get searched a lot and they get a lot of traffic. After you pause those, well, now that budget is left to go to these guys down here. So you are going to be devoting more of your daily budget to these keywords that are converting at a much more tolerable cost per conversion. So that's really all I wanted to point out here. Oh, no, that's not true. There's one more thing before I leave this page, and I want to show you one other campaign, very different other end of the scale in terms of costs and the cost per conversion that we can tolerate. But before I leave this example, a lot of people, very common, where folks optimize based on the cost per click, not the cost per conversion. So if we look over here at the cost per click column, you can see, not surprisingly, very different amounts per click. Here's a $97 click. The law firm space is known for its high-priced click costs. $100, $69, and as we scroll here, you can see very different. You know, here's 59, so that's nice. That's cheaper compared to a $100 click. And so the point I'm making is, it is not wise to pause keywords based on their cost per click. And we see this all the time. This client is actually doing some of it, where they say, well, that's just too much to pay for a click. I'm not going to pay that for a click. The point I'm making here is cost per click on its own is irrelevant. Because what if that particular keyword that's expensive converts like crazy. Every 2 or 3 clicks it converts, compared to a very appealing looking, much cheaper keyword that just never converts at all. It takes 20 clicks or 30 clicks before it converts. So again, cost per click on its own is irrelevant. Case in point, here's a nice inexpensive cost per click, $59 compared to the other costs, and yet the cost per conversion, which is relevant, the most relevant metric, $592. And as we scroll down a little bit and see some of these others down here, here's let me find a good example. Here's one. Here's an $80 cost per click, and our client might have said, well, 80 is too much to pay. I'm not going to pay more than 60. Here's an $80 cost per click, but it results in one of the cheapest cost per conversion keywords we have, $230 a conversion. So I wanted to point that out before leaving this screen. Cost per click on its own is not a way to make a decision to keep or to pause a keyword. Cost per conversion is what you want, and you have to go at the keyword level like we're doing here and just decide where your threshold is and pause everything above and just let these guys down here bring in all your conversions. So I'm going to show one other campaign. This is a e-commerce site, and they sell vertical blind replacements, so replacement slats or blind slats. When we first took this client on, it was not profitable. The amount they were spending, and they were getting conversions, but it was not profitable because in a case like this, the average sale was like $30 or $25. It's since gone up. They've added to their product line, but back in this time, they really couldn't afford much more than about $5 or $10 a conversion. And in this case, a conversion meant an actual sale. So they wanted to pay between $5 and $10 in order to buy a sale, and their sale was like $30. And the 30 was not profit. That was the retail price, and there was shipping. So again, the cost per conversion here had to come down. So I'm not going to go very long and very deep on this. I really only want to make one point on this, and that is what a campaign looks like after it's been optimized for a while. I want to show you the progress that we made and that it is possible. And I guess I'm making a couple of points here. One of them is you have to believe in the process and watch the cost per conversion come down over time. And oftentimes in the first handful of months, sometimes even longer, you're not going to be profitable. But if you see signs of it heading in the right direction, I mean, this is how a Google ad campaign works. This campaign, you should know, has 181 keywords in it. Okay, I'm not going to scroll to the bottom and show, well, yes, I'm going to scroll a little bit and show you how many are paused. The green dot here means the keyword is running. Everything below that you're going to see is paused. Watch when I scroll. So these are all running from here. They are all paused. And look where my scroll bar on the right is. I've only just started. If I scroll all the way down here, everything else is paused. So that's how many keywords we started with that seemed relevant and indeed were relevant, and many of them converted, but at a far too high cost per conversion. So that's the first point I want to show you, is just how many got paused. It's not uncommon that a few months down the road, 6-8 months down the road, a campaign has a good 3/4 of the keywords paused because they're just converting too expensive. But that's not a bad thing. It's simply the process, because what you're left with is keywords that are converting within the range you need, and now your budget goes towards those. So what I wanted to show you to kind of make that point is this little graph that shows the period of time. This is over a couple of years. When we first launched the campaign, what you're looking at here is cost per conversion. So when we first launched, $57 a conversion. Here, it went as high as $150 a conversion. And yes, the client got a bit nervous. And he's paying $150 to get a sale, and a sale that's only worth $30. And we told him, look, relax. It's going to keep coming down. A lot of these keywords are doing well, but they're too costly. But the hope that we saw in the campaign is there were indeed at that time, even around here where it was expensive, we saw keywords that were cheaper. We saw some converting that were in the range that was needed. So we knew, excuse me, we knew there was hope. So let me just scroll to the right. 77, it kept coming down. You can see the graph coming down all the way down to 30 to 20. We started to get profitable, and now look where it leveled out. We got rid of all the expensive ones, and for the next 2 years, it was in the $5 and $6 range all across the board all the way over to here. And now he's getting, there are ways to raise the impression share and get more volume and everything, and now he's completely profitable. But it took this amount of time right here, and I guess that's the lesson. If you're seeing, sometimes you don't see any signs of profitability and you need to abandon this campaign. Not everything works on Google Ads. But this one did, and we saw those signs in this time frame here, and we told him, hang on, and indeed, look what happened now. He's at $5 and $6 a conversion. So remember to do your conversions at the keyword level, not at the ad group level. Remember to look at them individually, decide where your threshold is on cost per conversion, and just get rid of all the keywords that are above that. I made it sound simplistic, but there's a little more to it than that. But the truth is, cost per conversion is just about your most important metric in making a Google ad campaign positive return on ad spend. All right, thanks. See you in the next lesson.